Welcome back to Jack of All Games Tabletop. I'm Dave Wallace. Is it Saturday night and you're lonely, no one around, nothing to do? Might as well play with yourself. Fortunately, solo board games these days are more popular than ever, and there's plenty to get a hold of. You know what else is popular? List shows. Apparently, people like lists, so I'm going to do another one. And I've actually had a request for doing more about solo board games, so that's what we're doing. 5 solo board games. Gonna make the list a little bit shorter, pull 5 out that I can just talk about now, and then maybe somewhere down the line do some more. Note that it's not the top 5 board games, or it's not my favorite, it's just 5 board games. Most of these you've probably heard of, but maybe some you haven't. Now, most of these games are designed specifically for solo board gaming. One of them on the list is actually solo or up to 4 people, but there's more ways that you can play as a solo gamer, so we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this list. Waste no time. This is 5 solo board games, starting with this one.
Rean Run, Renegade Games Studios, 2022.
This has that beautifully classic post-apocalyptic theme, Mad Max styled. In Rean Run, you are a road warrior. You're racing your rat rod across the wastelands as warlords and their minions are hot on your tail. You'll add weapons to your car and upgrade your defenses as the enemies surround you and circle about while they're taking shots at you, trying to get to the core of your vehicle.
This is a campaign game with card actions and dice management. You'll choose your car and your driver. Each chapter is divided into 3 rounds, and each round is split into 2 halves, the wreckage half and the run half. In the wreckage half of the round, you'll roll the dice and use them to buy upgrades for your vehicle. In the run half of the round, you'll do battle with the enemy, assigning dice rolls between yourself and the enemies. Be prepared for once your enemies fire upon you, they will then shift positions. When all the dice have been used, a new round begins. On the 3rd round, the boss of that chapter will join the battle. To win that chapter, you must defeat the boss. However, your enemies will continue to fire upon you, hoping to destroy parts of your car to open a clear shot at the core. Once your core is dead, so are you.
This is a lot of fun. I love the theme of this game. You might have noticed in the video that there was a mat laid down that is bought separately. I do have an expansion also for Fallout, not the IP, but rather Rean Run Fallout. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this is a really fun game. Check it out. So next on the list is going to be
Dice Conquest, Whiz Kids, 2022.
And this is set in that familiar fantasy theme, much like Dungeons & Dragons. Pretty simple. You just kill monsters, loot useful items, rinse and repeat. The game comes with oversized cards and a standard array of RPG dice. This is also the game on the list that I said could be played up to 4 characters, or 4 players playing 4 characters. However, you can easily play the solo as 1 character, 2, 3, or 4, giving yourself more options.
The fewer characters you use, the more health points you start with. Each character has its own unique ability, as well as its own crit number and its coinciding ability. Each round you'll turn over 3 cards from the threat deck. Then you'll roll all of the dice. These make up your available dice pool. Each monster has its hit points listed, and you can place dice on these cards, adding up to that monster's hit points, in order to slay the beast and discard it from the game. But most monsters have more than just hit points listed. Some will have reveal actions, and others have stipulations like it must be killed before any others, or only even-numbered dice can be used. When you choose to use a particular die, you can opt once to re-roll it, but then you have to stick with that number. The beasts you don't kill will do damage to you at the end of the round. On top of that, those cards will remain in play as you add another 3 beasts to the battle. Survive until you defeat the final threat, Culture Storm.
This game is rather compact, and it's only cards, a couple tokens, and dice in there. But yeah, you could easily slip this into a suitcase. Say if you're gotta go to the in-laws for a weekend and just want to sneak out of the room and play a game of some sort. Easy to hide, easy to take with you. It's small and simple, but it's actually a lot of fun, and there is quite a bit of challenge to it. Of course, it's a dice game, so that means there's also luck. Next on the list, we're going to discuss
20 Strong, Chip Theory Games 2023.
So this game is becoming rather popular. The core of the game is actually just the bundle of colorful dice along with a chip and a chip holder. But everything else comes in separate expansions. Now the Solar Sentinels game comes with this. You can also get expansions for Too Many Bones and Hoplomachus, and I believe there's a new expansion for Tanglewoods. All of these games share some of the basic 20 Strong rules, but each has their own unique aspects as well. So we're just going to use the Solar Sentinels now.
You'll pick a hero, set your stat dice to match your card, shuffle and stack the enemy cards as instructed, and gather your hit dice. Now you start picking off enemies. You set one down to fight and look for further instructions listed on the enemy card. Then you'll look at the enemy's hit points and decide how you want to allocate your dice. It's tricky though, because once you spend a die, it gets discarded, whether it hits or not, and you may not get it back, though some dice do come back to you. The dice all have the same markings, misses, hits, and crits. Some die have better odds of hitting than others. As you continue to discard dice from your hand, your possibility of success gets lower and lower. Typically, if you get through one of the enemy card stacks, you can move on to the boss card. Defeat him to win.
For me, this game always ends exactly the same, with me muttering, "How the hell does anyone ever beat this game?" But to be honest, actually, I did beat it once. Barely. On the last die. Didn't think I was going to make it, but I got lucky. So I got more to learn with this. I played the Too Many Bones version. I haven't played the Hoplomachus yet, which is interesting because I have played the Hoplomachus board game. I don't think I've played Too Many Bones as far as the board game goes. But yeah, anyway, I believe there's more expansions on the horizon, so keep an eye out for that. This is a great game that is just so expandable, be able to play in different ways, and of course, conveniently small, easy to carry around. All right, up next is
Warp's Edge, Renegade Games 2020.
In this game, you are the last starfighter making your final approach to attack the alien mothership. But before you do, you got to get past a whole fleet of smaller ships who are anxious to take you out. You'll have to use well-placed lasers and some fancy maneuvers to get around them. Think you've got the skills?
Warp's Edge uses a token bag draw system that essentially works the same as a deck builder. The tokens are a nice quality plastic that represent lasers, maneuvers, buying power, and special moves. Your starting tokens go in the bag, and you blindly draw out 5 at a time. The enemies are laid out in a row between your ship and the mothership. Use your tokens to activate your moves. Once you have used them, draw 5 more. When you can no longer draw 5 tokens, the round is over. If the damage done to an enemy is not enough to destroy them, it may be enough to stun them long enough to make another draw and gain tokens to finish the job. With luck and skill on your side, you may be able to clear the line and take your shots at the boss. But if you leave an enemy unscathed, they will fire at you, breaking down your shields.
This is another great game from Renegade Games. Makes it to my table fairly often. It's got a lot of replayability thanks to the variety of different ships that you can get for it. A lot of fun. I do have the Anomaly expansion, and as you saw, another map for this one as well. But yeah, very cool. Check it out. And finally, we've got
Final Girl, Van Ryder Games 2023.
This is becoming one of the most popular solo board games out there. And you gotta love the theme. I mean, this is based all in 80s horror movies. You know, where a group of teenagers is running away from some indestructible psychotic killer, and most of them get chopped down, and eventually the main star, the final girl, suddenly changes gears. She's pissed now and she's ready to fight back. And so that's the idea for the game.
The core game comes with Camp Happy Trails. I love the idea of games in which the box is also the board, though no one likes the fact that this box has edges that prevents parts of your board from laying flat. But aside from that, the game is great. You'll use cards for actions, including movement, but just because you play a card doesn't mean your action is successful. You rely on dice rolls to decide if your action succeeds. You'll move your meeple around the board, trying to help others escape, finding helpful items, and when you need to fight the killer will continually move towards you and the other victims. There's a time track that allows you buying power for cards, as well as a terror track which limits the amount of dice you're admitted to roll to try for successful actions. As the game moves on, the killer gets stronger. Which one of you will make it out alive?
Well, there's tons of expansions for this game, and they all kind of follow the same thing where it looks an awful lot like a movie you know well, but of course they've changed the names around so that, you know, they're not stepping on anyone's IP. But yeah, there's a lot available out there. Easy to find. You can get this obviously on Amazon aside from game stores. And you can also get it in Barnes & Nobles a lot of times as well. And some of the expansions too. So there you go. There is a list of 5 solo board games for you to look into if you haven't. Now, like I said, most of these are pretty well known right now. I'm wondering, like, is there any on that list that maybe is your favorite? And is there a reason? Are there expansions that I haven't tapped into yet on mine that you think I should try out? And what other solo board games do you think we should discuss next time? So that's going to be it for now. See you next time. Hey gamers, thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate all the support. It's one of the things I know that I can count on with the gaming community at large. This is of course to the point where I got to ask you to like it, hit that subscribe button, and maybe share this with a friend. If you are a game designer, or maybe starting your own gaming company, and you want to do a little bit of cross promotion, maybe you got a prototype that you want me to check out and talk about on the show, definitely let me know. And of course, for all questions, suggestions, and corrections, there's all kinds of ways to get a hold of me. Probably the easiest one is just comment below. You can also send me an email at jackofallgamestt@gmail.com. The T stands for tabletop. And if you'd like to take a look at my commissioned miniature paint jobs, or even some of the other stuff in my life like photography or tattooing, which is what I do for my day job, go check it out on Instagram @ArtOfWallace. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.